Almighty God, you have blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. Help us to use them wisely in the service of our town government. We ask this in thy holy name. Amen. Salute the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Does anyone in the audience wish to address the board in a public forum?
John, you came down with mainly on that Hayford Road deal there, what's going on there, and
Yeah, we've got a resolution on that, Roy, we're gonna pass to oppose it.
okay.
Okay? And I'll give some more information that I know about it, okay? Did you get a notice?
Yep.
Okay, George got one. I talked to a couple of residents on that road and they'd gotten them. We just got our official notice yesterday. We knew it was coming, we didn't know when or where.
I like the time.
I'll address that issue also.
That's a cute time.
I asked for an evening hearing. It went on deaf ears, I guess. And I thought it would be much more convenient for the families that live on that road.
Should splash in papers. It should have printed this, put in the papers.
We've called the press. The press will be doing an interview, and hopefully they'll be taking pictures of the crossing as well.
It should also put this in the paper.
The hearing notice?
Yeah.
Well,
The time and everything on it?
The legal responsibility of the Department of Transportation is to advertise it in the legal column, which is always a little tiny ad.
Yeah.
That's why we thought the press should be alerted to the fact and do a story on it, okay?
Yeah.
And the time and everything will be in that press release. That press release, we're hoping to do most good, be a week to 10 days ahead, not just yet, but not the day before either.
Yeah.
I see Harry looks like he had a comment. Harry?
Not necessarily on that, I just had a couple of things I was gonna mention,
Okay.
if that's all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Again, a couple of things. First of all, just what's going on with the county. We voted the other night, and we're gonna reiterate it again to kind of try to stabilize the tax rate over the next 3 years. So hopefully, we're gonna do this by paying down our debt. It's something that I think the county's been trying to do for some time and is finally in a position where they're able to do it. So hopefully I will not be standing here at some point and telling you about a potential tax increase which goes well beyond the cost of living. The sales tax projections continue to be high, and so whatever your budgeted figure is, I think we're looking at 5 to 10% above that figure, so hopefully it will maintain itself. Canadian business is running above projections. There's a new program out there which we have applied for again. I guess it's a program that periodically increases, and just wanted to let people know that if you're a first-time home buyer, that there's up to $800,000 that we're going to be getting in grant money that will allow you to pick up some funding either in low interest or for down payments relative to purchasing a home. It's a state program which is designed to get people into more homes, and if you have any interest at all in that, any of the residents in Area 1, what I'd like you to do is call the county housing office now, because even though the money's not there yet, we certainly would be in a position where you get on a waiting list. There's going to be a new look for the county. I was put on the Building and Grounds Committee, and we are down there trying to set up a whole new entrance area in terms of the horticulture of the area, not specifically any new edifices or anything, although I have talked to, and we do have a new county historian. Her name is Stacy Pratt. She was outstanding in the interview process, and she'll be working with the local historians up here and hopefully coordinating both the quadricentennial celebration, which there will be some local celebrations up in this area, plus the Battle of Plattsburgh, of course, which is coming up in 2014. So the only other thing that I would mention to you is that I'm here also to add any weight that the county can have relative to the Hayford Road closure. If there's anything that we can do, it of course is not a county road, but we were able to, and I'm working to facilitate the town as much as possible on that issue. And so you let me know if there's anything that the county can do, and the county will be there to support the town. And I will plan to be at the meeting. It's 1:30 on the 8th of July, right? It's for all the working men and women. Let me just make one more comment on a different topic. My phone has not stopped ringing for the last, I want to say, week, and maybe you read about it in the paper. The Clinton County correction officers are working without a contract. And let me just say one thing about that issue. I've been a previous past president of my local union. I've been a chief negotiator for many years. I've actually taken 120 teachers to a school board meeting, something you appreciate, Larry, sitting on the other side of the table. But you know, when we brought the people there, we were looking for 3 to 4%. And all I can tell you is there's tough negotiations ahead. You may be hearing it from some of your constituents, and I'm a big supporter of unions, and I'm a big supporter of the correction officers. We may have to let this process carry itself through, which would mean we've been through mediation, we've been through, and we're going to try to go through the following step, which is to go to fact-finding. That's kind of the ultimate, you may remember that, Larry, too, where someone neutral from the outside comes in, and that's what happens when you can't settle things. It doesn't mean that we're not in a process of trying to help these people out. I don't know demographically how many people locally in our area up here are related to or actually officers. I believe there's 87 correction officers that work for the county. So, but we are attempting to do that. So if you hear anything, I guess should be a big article Thursday morning. We will have a packed house again tomorrow night. I never expected to be on the other side of the table in terms of having, I remember the first time I was a town board member, I was asked by Supervisor Beal to negotiate with some of the employees here. And it was an interesting situation, sitting on the other side of the table from where I had been for the last 35 years. But now it's truly at a point where, you know, I hope that the correction officers can have a little patience and so on. So if you hear anything out there, know that the legislator from Area 1 is doing everything in his power to try and consummate a deal for all the officers. So, and I'll be, again, at your disposal on the Hayford Road situation. Whatever you need, just ask me and I'll be happy to be there for you. Okay? Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to address the board?
For what reason they're closing that crossing?
What reason? The reason they're giving us is a safety issue. They want to put a double track down.
Well, there's been a double track there since 1964 that I bought the farm. 44.
Yes.
44.
And they told us they took the track up 25, 30 years ago, the second track.
No, that ain't true.
They took it up when CP bought it.
Pardon?
But I was talking with Larry Bullers, which worked for the railroad.
Yes.
The first year CP bought it, that was one of their priorities, was to tear that second track out.
Roughly how long ago was that, do you know what I mean?
About 10 years or so.
Okay, well, anyways, they're
It
telling
used to
us,
go all the way to the overpass in Cooperville.
they want to run longer trains, up to 11,000 foot long.
Yeah.
And it's a safety issue if they have to park a train that long. And if they don't close the tracks, that crossing rather, they're gonna have to split the trains,
Yeah.
okay?
All they gotta do is hire 7 men. They'll have a man there 24/7.
Well, I'm just telling you what they told us, right? It's a safety issue. Alan, you might wanna address that. I don't know if you,
You
Pretty
did the
much.
same thing, you're taking the words right out of my mouth, that's all that he told us when he came here.
we got rumors of this several months ago. The railroad stopped to see us early May,
Yeah,
late April, early May. And they told us they were gonna go through the process of a hearing, didn't give us no dates or nothing. I got a call, I believe, a week ago yesterday from the Department of Transportation, setting the date, and that minute, that phone call, I asked if it could be an evening hearing. He said he would try to do that, and it didn't come about.
Maybe
It's,
got a better pay.
pardon?
Maybe got a better pay.
Are we gonna have our town attorney here that day?
I have called the town attorney, he will be here, I spoke to him today. We're getting our ducks in order, so to speak. We we don't know that it's any advantage to the fire district, EMS service, school buses cross them tracks.
Because, yeah, and then if they double tracked it all the way to the overpass, from the Leggett Road
No,
to
they-
the overpass, if they went all the way through it like it used to be,
Yes,
there's room for them to park their train.
would they have to close the Leggett to do
No,
that?
there is no crossings.
Oh,
The
okay.
next crossing, once you leave the Leggett Road, the next crossing is on the Lake Shore Road.
Okay.
Well, I had a question too.
And
is
that
why-
switch was right there at the bridge.
Why couldn't they do this on the other side of the border? If this train had to
Because
park,
Canadians won't
because
let
they
it
have
go.
that whole big yard up there. I mean, there's a bunch of questions I think we all have about alternatives to doing what they're proposing. And I just hope they're receptive to suggestions and not try to jam this down our throats. But that's the way it's going right now.
That was my question. Is this strictly a town issue or the town versus the railroad in this? Or do we get any help like from Senator Little or our Representative McHugh or the county? Are they gonna be here at this
Certainly.
hearing or?
The county's been very receptive to the idea.
No, I realize that, but I think we need to load the gun here, so to speak.
I totally understand. We are going on record tonight, we have a resolution, I hope it passes, to oppose it. They know before they get here that we're gonna oppose this thing, okay? And, we're just hoping this room is packed that day, okay? They need to hear the message. We've been through this once before, a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, Alan.
Yep.
Banker Road, that's a little dirt road that goes across, from the Stetson Road down to the Lake Shore Road. It's a seasonal dirt road. They came up with an alternative at their expense to remedy that situation, which they haven't done yet. And it's the same judge, I'll tell you right now, out of Albany. He was a very nice guy, but he made a recommendation to close that track with the alternate or the solution that the railroad came up with.
But we can appeal this, I mean, we can.
No, I don't know if there's an appeal process here, I really don't know that, okay?
That'll be the lawyer.
Why they can close that one on the Hayford Road and they can't close mine, why across my machinery, my cow? I gotta right away there, they gotta maintain it in the ditch and all that. And I said,
It's
well,
200 feet from the crossing.
I said, that's very nice. I says, if I come from the woods or something like that, it's in the winter time, and you plug me up, I said, how what will I do? I said, you come and call us up, and we'll come and open it up. I said, very true, but how long will it take before you come and open it up? If it's 20 below zero, you gonna bring me a coat or something to warm up or what? I ain't got no heater on my tractor. Now, they don't own the railroad. You know one thing?
They own the right of way to it?
They only got it right away.
Yes, I know.
And they put 8 cables on the east side about 4 years ago. They'd have no right to do it.
Fiber optic.
Now, they send me a letter about January. They offer me $1.85 a foot. I got 1,500 feet of railroad, both sides. And they're supposed to pay shortly, but I haven't heard nothing yet. But I'm waiting till they pay me. They got 8 on the east side, and they got 4 on the west side, but they don't talk about that. When I get my pay, then I'm gonna say, well, how about the other side?
I think the residents of this township, especially the residents on that road, need to know that this town board is not in favor of closing that track. Okay, period.
Well, there's enough
It's
traffic.
not in the favor of anybody.
Well,
This afternoon, I was sitting outside, I counted 124 cars went by from 3 o'clock to 4:30. 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, if people goes to work, they go back home. And then Smith Street, use that road morning and night, and there's a lot of others. Now, we got wide machinery. Now, wide machinery, you're gonna go through Rogers Point with that? That's gonna be nice. Who's gonna pay for the gas? It's 3 miles and a half to go around one way.
They've measured that already, they know those things, okay?
Now, who's
When I
gonna
say
pay the
they,
expense?
I don't mean the railroad, the Department of Transportation knows those things, okay? They know those distances around those.
They had a counter last week, they just pulled it up, home
What,
across the road.
The county.
The county or the county, we asked the county to put one in, I believe it was the last week of April, I've got the report. On the first day of May, 1st or 2nd of May. It was an 8 or 9 day count. day and night, 24-hour count, by the hour. I can tell you midnight to 2 o'clock in the morning when it across there. Very extensive. They took the railroad took a count in January, and our count in the last week of April, excuse me, was about more than twice what their count was in January. Okay? Their count did not give direction, how many cars were going east and west. Our count did that, the county's count. It told us how many cars were going east, what time of day, how many were going west, and that time of day. So we have those figures, and they're much higher than what the railroads did in January. January count was a 12-hour daylight count, to my knowledge. Okay? There is a whole lot less traffic in the middle of the night, for sure. A lot of people use that road early morning and late afternoon, evenings. I have it by the hour.
How many cars went by? You
Well, I
didn't
got it on my desk, I can share it with anybody if you call it in. It's approximately 180 some cars each direction, right here.
Yeah.
It's almost 400 cars.
Okay, northbound. That's, I call it almost west, but if they call it north, because it's going north. 184 cars. Southbound, 182. That's an average now, okay, for those days. Okay, and it's very extensive, you really got it, okay. Their count was 138, daylight, 12-hour daylight count. Daylight.
Lately, they're playing a game.
In
Yeah,
January,
no big
January,
freight.
you'd be hard pressed to get a 12-hour daylight count, okay? I'm just telling you what we know,
Yeah,
and we know that, and we've been advised, we talked about even asking for one further count.
we're glad you're involved.
Pardon?
I said, we're glad you're involved.
Okay, we're looking at possibly, I'll have to talk to the county highway superintendent, to get a count towards the end of June. Okay, takes a few days after they pull the machine up to get, so we can't wait till a week before, but maybe late June would be a better count.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll give you a call to,
Well, we have it for both,
take a look at that.
we have it for both tracks, the Leggett Road as well as the Hayford Road. Okay, we have both those counts. Because obviously, if they close the Hayford Road, there's gonna be more traffic on that Leggett Road.
To an extent,
That's what I mean, it's not gonna be less, it's gonna be somewhat more.
somewhat more, but not a huge amount, because all Smith Street and everything will end up going
Yes.
around, and
They're not gonna go up there.
they're not gonna go that way. And in the winter, you get a real bad south wind with real snow, don't go with a car.
You know that.
I'll tell you that right now.
EMS is another big.
It's not a convenience for the town either, because if
We're
it
not
comes,
gaining any,
No,
we,
I know you're not.
if it
pain
comes
in the
about,
butt, we're gonna have to turn around and
It's
the
gonna create a
school and
hardship, is
everything.
what it's gonna
It
do.
will.
okay,
And in the snow with a plow, turning around is not the,
we see no advantage to us or anybody else, except the railroad.
railroad. That's the only one that's gonna gain out of that.
They're
not
calling
gonna-
it a
They're not gonna
safety
pay the
issue?
extra gas around, or,
They're calling it a safety issue, I think it's a convenience issue to the railroad. That's personal opinion.
if their crossings are working properly, the way they're supposed to be, which they have been one poor job done there, because a lot of times, that crossing would come down, up and down, there was no train. That went on for years.
Did that.
They didn't maintain nothing.
Okay, but Alan, I think Alan could verify this, they're supposed to inspect lighted crossings once a month.
Once a month, that's
Once
supposed
a
to be
month.
inspected.
They don't,
I
We
know
had
that.
to go through that in the Banker Road if they were
I know
gonna
that.
keep it open.
okay.
And you
Very
got today,
expensive.
the gate went down maybe for an hour.
Yeah, You think when it's really cold in the winter time, those gates don't work for me. Stetson Road, we got the same problem.
Yeah.
But because they're not cleaning,
Yeah.
Okay, the concern with a double track and splitting a train, they said was a safety issue. In fact, that even if the gates are down, the lights are flashing and nothing's coming, people kind of sneak up to the tracks and try to get through. Alan, you remember mentioning that?
they're the ones that caused it by not maintaining those gates to begin with. People would sit there and sit there and sit there and look, and there was nothing. So they go around the gate, they're at fault, and they've been at fault right along.
And their explanation was that when a train is split, they have to split that train, leave part of it, the one in.
They gotta get so many feet away from it.
Okay, but the site visibility on the other side of the track,
That you gotta watch.
you
I
know,
don't
you
even-
can't look down the tracks until you get on the track, so to speak.
I,
Well, anyways.
we lived there, we know, it's going, before the gates were ever put up, and there was double tracks there. And there was double tracks at the Leggett Road also.
Of course, their argument is that the trains are much longer. They're gonna run 11,000-foot trains.
I don't think they were a whole lot longer than the D-H was back in the 40s.
200 cars, they're gonna have a lot of accidents. They're gonna pull too hard and they're gonna have a lot of accidents. Roy, my nephew, works on the railroad. He's-
My brother, my son does.
Well, he says in a long train like that, it's bad for accident. When you curve, you pull too hard and you break.
Let me tell you what they told us.
Yeah.
We, from day one, we did not see any advantage to us. Okay, so we totally expect to oppose it. What will happen, I have no, if we had control over it, we wouldn't be this far,
That's right.
okay?
Okay.
We would not even be this far if we had control over it. We don't.
Yeah, the big thing is to get the word out and get a lot of
That's what I
community
said,
support.
they'll get the paper, nobody will hear about it.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
only the few locals right around it.
If there's a half a dozen people here for that hearing, the judge is gonna take that as,
Nobody.
nobody cares.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to be here, and they will ask for testimony, there's usually a sign-up sheet, those that wanna testify. This ain't gonna be no 1-hour meeting like Banker Road was.
And I will get together with you too.
Okay. Any other questions? Or,
Well, we've pretty well summed things up.
yeah? That's to our knowledge, okay?
We have to open these.
Okay, go ahead then.
Okay. Notice is hereby given pursuit to section 103 of the general municipal law that the town of Champlain will accept sealed bids for one new 2009 tandem axle dump truck with snowplow equipment and multi-purpose body. Specifications and proposal forms may be obtained from the town clerk, town of Champlain office, 729 Route 9, Champlain, New York. Sealed bids must be filed in the office of the town clerk on or before 3 p.m. on Friday, June 6, 2008. After which the bids will be publicly opened and read aloud at the town board meeting on June 10, 2008 at 7:15 p.m. The successful bidder will be notified promptly by letter and must be prepared to enter into contract to furnish the required material or services. The town of Champlain reserves the right to reject or to waive any informality in any and all bids if the best interest of the town of Champlain. The bids should be clearly marked, bid enclosed, one new 2009 tandem axle dump truck with snow plow equipment and multi-purpose body. Alan J. Racine, Town of Champlain Highway Superintendent. We got 2 bids. Okay, this one's from M.A. Jerry and Company. Says for Viking plow and body, wait a second. Is this the price up on top?
Yes, top price,
No,
yeah.
160.
Right where it says the model number.
Okay. $160,125. And this one's from Champlain Peterbilt. And this is for $158,715.
Do they have an option for warranty, and could you tell me what model?
Okay, the model is it's year 2009 make Peterbilt model 367. Cummins engine warranty, 60 months, 150,000 miles, which is $2,450.
Is that part of the price?
I'm not sure if that's part of the price or not. Well, it says option 2. There's an option 1, and then you've got C attachment. She'd have to read up on it to see for sure. Unless Carl knows if
I
it's
don't, Bob
included.
was gonna be here too, so must have.
Okay,
If it's something I can do, and I'll look over.
Okay, I have to refer this back to the highway committee anyways. I would like a motion, I think, we don't wanna hold this up for a month to, make a decision on the truck, because I don't know how long it takes to get a truck, but it takes 3 or 4 months to order a truck and get it here.
Well, this one here says 120 days. Guaranteed delivery date will be 120 days. That's from Champlain Peterbilt.
Okay.
That's same with us.
And this one here says guaranteed delivery date will be 120 to 150 days from MAGREs.
So it could be 4 to 5 months. If we wait until July to award the bid, it would be November, December, we never know. We might want it before then. I'd like to refer it back to the highway committee and Alan to review. And if I could get a motion to approve their recommendation, I guess that's the way we should word that before our next board meeting. Go ahead with that. Okay, it needs to be reviewed.
I'll make that motion for the highway committee to review with the highway superintendent.
I'll second that motion.
Is there any questions on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye for myself. So that will go back to the highway committee. I would expect in the next 10 days, 2 weeks at most, I would hope, to get an answer on that one. Okay?
And if you have any questions, let me know.
We will do that.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. I'm sure if there's any questions, the highway committee can call either one of the companies and get their answers answered for everything. Anything else right now? Peter? Yeah, we can do that now. Yeah, we can do that. I have a, we'll do the railroad towards the end of the meeting. We just had it printed up today, in fact, finished it. Would you read that, Julie?
Resolution. Whereas CP Rail has expressed an interest in establishing an additional set of tracks or siding along the existing railroad in the vicinity of Hayford Road in the town of Champlain. And whereas the proposal by CP Rail may result in the permanent interruption of throughway traffic along the Hayford Road, effectively closing this road to throughway traffic, and whereas if the proposal by CP Rail results in the permanent interruption of throughway traffic along Hayford Road, the proposal would cause several negative consequences to the health, safety, and welfare of residents living and working in the immediate area, including increased time taken by the school to transport students by bus, and or the need for increased number of school buses to provide the same level of transportation service, economic hardship to local farmers that utilize the Hayford Road to access their agricultural fields, increased time and cost for the town to provide snowplow services to Hayford Road residents and businesses, and increased response time for provision of emergency services to Hayford Road residents and businesses. And whereas there has been little to no discussion of possible alternatives to the permanent interruption of throughway traffic along Hayford Road while still allowing the construction of additional railroad tracks. And whereas we find the negative impacts to the residents and businesses of the Hayford Road area that would result from the proposal to be significant and potentially life-threatening. Now therefore be it resolved without further discussion of alternatives to a proposal that would allow construction of additional railroad tracks in the vicinity of Hayford Road that result in the permanent interruption of throughway traffic, and therefore effectively close Hayford Road to throughway traffic. The town of Champlain Board hereby opposes the proposal in its entirety, and be it further resolved, the town of Champlain Board remains willing to discuss the issue and possible alternative to the proposal that would permanently close Hayford Road to throughway traffic, will actively oppose the current proposal for the reasons cited above.
Okay,
I make a motion to pass this resolution.
we have a motion. Need a second.
I'll second that motion.
Is there any questions on this motion? It's just taking a public stand on our feelings on the railroad crossing. If there is no questions, I'll call for a motion, call for a vote. All those in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Aye for myself, passes. Okay. This newspaper reporter will be in to see me. I called her yesterday. she will be obliged to give us a
I'd
copy of
be
that.
glad to put that in, I think.
Okay,
I'd just like to make a comment. I'm aware that Councilman John Paul Tetro is in favor of this motion as well.
yes, I know that. He was unable to be with us tonight. First meeting he's missed in a long, long time, it's not the first one. Okay. He was not able to be here, but he has a very concern about this also. There was nobody in favor of this railroad crossing closing. We don't see it happening, but it could. I just don't know. Okay.
Funny things can happen.
Well, not with our blessing,
No.
okay? People need to know that,
It won't be with anybody's blessing, I don't think at our end.
no. You have anything else right now, Julie, or? Okay. We need to approve the minutes of May 13th meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes from May 13th.
I'll second that motion.
Does anyone have any questions or concerns about the minutes of May 13th? If not, all those in favor of approving?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. There's a notice here, I don't know if you want to address that, Nikki, or not, the BAS.
Yes, the BAS is a computer program we have, which we do our building permits off from. And it's also an organization which we met when we were in New York City. It's Angela Vidi is the contact person. And we were looking for ways to streamline the zoning and planning, record keeping, minute taking, and general information that has to do with planning and zoning. Because we get into applications that they're not just as simple as a 1 or 2 month meeting. Some of them go on for many, many months. There's timelines that have to be met and timeframes tracked and so on and so forth. And this is a program she's gonna demonstrate to us how it would work. It was for our information only. So I gave everybody a copy of, this is gonna be June 19th, I believe, just before the zoning board meeting. Should take about half hour, 45 minutes, questions and demonstrations as to what this can or can't do. And that's all that's about.
Okay. I have another meeting in Plattsburgh that evening, I cannot make it, but I'm encouraged by councilman if possible to be here on that.
Another thing the town should be aware of, I mean, I'm sure the program is good, because I have all the programs at BAS, but we also have Laserfish at the town, and that's easy access to all this stuff too. I mean, we're still working on the program, and sometimes it's hard to find something, and we have to dig through the vault, but I don't really know if we need another program. You know, if we get Laserfish working the way it should be, that's supposed to be the way to go. I mean, it's not gonna hurt us to talk to them, but.
Right.
So Laserfish provides the same type of service that the BAS system does?
I think
Well-
Laserfish is a retrieval system, isn't it? Where you can go back and search records.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
okay.
isn't this really what this is gonna be though?
No, this is to track, like, one meeting to the next, ongoing stuff. It doesn't, as far as I know, it doesn't do any,
Oh, so you mean if, like, well, for instance, with Bedard's application, that's been going on for months.
Right.
Anything pending,
yeah, they have a format that she wants to show us and this and
Okay.
that. Because it was one of the things that we looked at in New York and we were talking about it.
We're willing to listen.
Well, like I said, if she wanted to come up, I said, okay.
Yeah. I got a notice, the second thing on the agenda here is a letter from personnel, Clinton County Personnel Office of some training coming up. I've asked Jane to attend it, personnel matters. It's a lot of things that pertains to her job. It's this coming Monday, I believe it is. It's 3 hours. I've asked her to go, she's willing to do that, so she's gonna go, that's for your information only. We got a letter from Marinda Major, the Clinton County Real Property Office, who's gonna be in the area updating some files and doing, as part of her duties, it will be collecting new construction, but also going to parcels and taking pictures of the structures on the parcels to attach to property records at the town offices. So if you see somebody around taking pictures of your house, it's probably the Clinton County Real Property Office. That's for your information only.
Is that covered under our contract?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
to my knowledge, yes. And the next one, you got the real properties schedule of the dates they're gonna be here in this office. They're normally here every Friday, but they're gonna be here much more this month. They've already been here 4 or 5 days, not the complete crew, but one or two of them. Okay, that's for your information also. I sent a letter to Al Rasco, the county highway superintendent, thanking him for doing that count on the Hayford and Leggett Road, just for your information only. Okay. And you have the dog control officer's report from April 16th through May 20th. Some activity there. For those that are not aware, as of starting this past January, we have a new dog control officer, it's Joe Mott in Rouse's Point, he takes care of just Champlain and Champlain Township, which is up to both villages. We no longer have the same dog control officer that we had before, sharing it with 3 towns. And the one we've got now seems to be working real well. Okay, Time Warner sent us their monthly check, quarterly check, $2,197. We get that every quarter, we just report that. That's a user's fee. Got a letter, the next one is a letter from Christian Kay. She's the swimming coordinator for the summer youth program, pertaining to using the summer youth program is going to be using the Shazy School this year, because Champlain High School, Northeastern, is under reconstruction up there, and there's some additional cost, and we just found out there's an additional $75 for somebody to monitor the locker room patrol, they call it, in Shazy School. There's $300, and we're splitting that 4 ways with the 2 villages and the town of Moores. The town of Moores is also on that part of that summer youth program. You got your report from your community outreach, county JCO notes. Their activities seem to be real active. I got a letter from the Teamsters local that represent our highway crew. They want to start negotiations. The contract is up at the end of this year. I have been in contact with them. I expect to hear from them in the next couple of weeks at most, start negotiating for the new contract. The next thing is the shared services contract with the Village of Champlain. Please find the Village of Champlain shared services contract is adopted by the village. They would like us to approve that. I don't know if we want to approve this or send it back to committee to review it. It's a desire of the board here.
I think we can bring that before the shared services committee and maybe work it through a little bit further.
Okay.
With everybody that's involved, not just us from the Village of Champlain, but the Village of Rouse's Point too.
Okay. If you can do this by the July meeting, we'd like to approve that and get that over with.
That's the same one they had last year?
Yeah, it is.
They didn't change the wording or nothing?
This is not the, this is not the
No,
bond.
I mean, this one here,
This is the equipment one.
Okay, you
changed the wording in it.
you want to check with Helen, probably, Steve and Greg.
We can go over it.
Yeah,
Check with Helen on this one.
Yeah, we should go.
should make a motion to,
I'm just sending it back to the committee,
okay, table it for now.
shared services committee to review it, with Alan's input for sure, because we do share some equipment with the Village of Champlain, once in a while with the Village of Rouse's Point also, and many other municipalities, not just them too, but just protect us and them also, I guess. We got another check, twice a year, I believe it is. We get a check from the Clinton County Treasurer's Office for the mortgage tax distribution from October 2007 to the end of March for $32,382. It's always nice to receive. Okay, you got, I believe you're on the grants committee. This next letter, you want to read that over sometimes at your leisure. I do not see where it really would pertain to us. It came from the New York State Secretary of State. pertaining to grants.
McKenna.
Look at that. Environmental Facilities Corporation sent us a letter. I don't know why we get these. They're pertaining to large farms that have these updates for environmental farm assistance programs. This is, we get those several times a year from different farms. This happens to be one on Stetson Road. You got a report from the county's treasurer's office. Julie, you got that? Could you address that at all? I mean,
It's just indicating after how the taxes were, what the warrant was,
Yes.
over 3 million. And after paying the treasurer and the supervisor and everything was paid, we got an extra $196, which was for a second notice fee.
okay.
And the town itself got $924,158.83. And I paid $1,507,000 to the treasurer, so I collected over $2 million in taxes this year.
You paid that to the county treasurer, is that right?
Yeah, county treasurer,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. You have your zoning minutes of March and April. Interested in reading? Zoning Board of Appeals. We got a notice from, I guess it's Department of Transportation Regulations. You get that handbook down?
I got that, but the thing I got here, that's very vague, you know, they didn't send us, you know, they have to get on the website, see what they got to offer here.
This is something I read twice, still didn't know what I read?
I read this, and
Okay. We do, I guess, Alan, every year you get updates on
yeah,
transportation laws, highway laws, I should say. And
this year doesn't tell us anything, they're even involved in employees and testing, and yeah, it doesn't really tell us that. You can get on their website to find out, you know.
There's
what they offer.
yeah. I got came out of the newspaper, editorial page. If anybody's seen it in the paper or not, the state is moving to burning completely in the state, okay? And there is a, June 26th, there's a public hearing in Harrietstown, that's Jack Lake. I don't know if we want to send a written testimony, I don't know that we want to appear. Take a stand on this. We do have we have a burning law in town Champlain with a couple of years now, and it's worked very well. We call nuisance fires have been cut out by probably 90%. This year would pretty much totally ban almost all burning. You want to address this, Mickey, at all? Or?
Yeah, basically, you hit the nail right on the head. If the DEC passes this, the local, you lose your local control, because now the DEC would enforce it, and you have 3 game wardens that does Clinton County. So how many square miles are they gonna enforce if you have a complaint? That's one of my issues with it. I mean, I think the burn ban that we have, or by permit only in the town, works very well. The fire department seems to like it. I don't hear very many complaints. And I personally am not in favor of the DEC totally banning this stuff. I mean, that's gonna create more roadside garbage. Everybody's gonna be dumping their brush and weeds and grass. I mean, they're not gonna haul this to Schuyler Falls, given the price of gas and the distances and the cost. So what are we gonna do with all this stuff?
I have talked,
syndrome.
Yeah. No, but I mean, this is the law here. I got it off the internet, and it would basically burn anything, or ban burning of anything other than campfires, at campsites.
Okay.
So.
I did talk to the fire chief here last month or so, and he said that 90% of the nuisance fires have been reduced. And that was the objective. The fire department encouraged us a couple of years ago to pass this. It took us several months to get it passed. It seems to be working. Once in a while, we still get those stubborn people that still want to burn in their burning barrels.
That article's a little bit deceiving, because it's true, it would ban outdoor burning barrels, and I'm all in favor of that. But to have a complete ban on everything, no, I'm not in favor of that. Nor that I think the town should be in favor of that. But burn barrels and burning of garbage, yes, they should be.
Well, there's already a law against New York State.
Well, there is, but if you read that article, it's
Yeah, but
not,
there's already a law. as far as
DEC is
burning-
trying to incorporate it all.
Burning
making it-
garbage, there's already a law on that.
Right, right.
Okay. But this would, even people that come in and get a permit to burn brush, they've got on their own property or something. You could eliminate that probably.
Exactly.
And we don't know if we want to do that. We always encourage people to be courteous to their neighbors when they do burn, if they do come in and get a permit. If they get a permit, they need to notify fire control in Plattsburgh when they start the fire, and they need to call back when the fire is out. In case somebody goes by and sees a fire, they don't get on their cell phone and call the fire department out. And it's worked well, I think, if it's the wishes of the board, I think we'll just send it out.
They got a good sized brush pile that can burn for a couple of days.
Pardon?
You got a good sized brush pile, that
Yeah.
can burn for a couple of
Yeah.
days.
And, you know, every once in a while, somebody will burn when the wind's blowing towards their neighbors or something, and the object is to be courteous and get a permit and do it the right way, and we've never refused a permit that I know of. Yes, Harry?
Just so you know, the village of Rouse's Point is looking for a municipal exemption. Apparently they burn, I don't know whether there's any burning that's done here by the town, but they're looking for a municipal exemption based upon their composting pile, which apparently doesn't compost as much as they would like, so they have to have a burn. And so they would like a rider put in this clause exempting local municipalities. I'm not sure whether it would be just villages or the town. So we're moving that along at the county level, and we're trying to get that included in the record. So whether or not the town has any kind of controlled burns or not, that they do, Alan, do you or not? No?
No.
Okay. Well, and I'm not sure about Champlain, whether the village does anything, but the village of Rouse's Point definitely does. And they feel like if they don't get the exemption, and Mickey, you could probably speak to this point too, then that will back up the convenience, which is to keep the streets clean and keep the brush off and you know, and make the village look good. So they're really looking for this exemption, which would be probably once a year or twice a year situation. So I don't know that they'll include it, but George and I had a meeting about it, and I told them we would pass it along.
What's the county legislature's position on this?
So I don't, you know, I haven't brought it up yet, but I don't think it's a problem. I mean, I think that each municipality being able to have control, I don't think there's an issue there at all. It's just, the question is whether or not we pass a resolution or whether or not we send written correspondence to be included in the record at the hearing, and that's probably what we'll end up doing.
It's okay with the board, we'll send the testimony that it's total. Yeah, go ahead.
I make a motion that we send a letter in opposition to the burning.
To retain what we have now.
I guess in that letter, we should state that what we have, we think works.
Works, we issue burn permits.
It works, everybody seems pretty happy with it. Even the people that come to get the permits are free, you come and get a permit, we don't charge for it. So we didn't want to use it as a revenue source. We didn't want people to think we're doing this to raise revenue, we're doing it for the convenience of your neighbors, so to speak. We're not burning
We
your
do like
shit.
the state of New York, we could use it as a revenue source. Reduce the taxes, but increase the fees.
Never thought of that.
I'll second Craig's motion.
We have a motion and a second to write a letter of opposition. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Alan, do you have anything else to report on the highway committee?
No, I'm still working on that Southwood Road Bridge. I'll get that done this week, and then I got an adopt bridge, I got 2-3 days there, then I'm gonna start working on the road that we're gonna pave,
Okay,
depending on the weather.
we're looking for what, an August paving, no?
The end of July,
End of July, August? They always seem to put us back a week or two, but depending on the weather,
depending on the weather.
like farming. Okay, we need, has anybody got any committee reports, either the building committee?
Building, the only thing that we have is we're still investigating the call for the
Yes.
records of the court.
We have cleaned out a storage area that the highway department was using. Hopefully, we're gonna try to make,
The rate go for whatever.
yes, it's a small area, almost ideal size to enlarge the vault. It's right next to the vault. we're looking into doing that this summer. See where that goes, and we need to get that done. They do need additional space within the building. I have nothing I can think of. Water and Sewer Committee has anything? I don't know that I know of it.
I can just update us on the grant, through the Shared Services Committee. Last meeting, we applied for and got an extension of a $30,000 memorandum from Senator Little that we can use at our discretion for expenses. We've come up with the final, hopefully the final RFP that we're gonna be using to send out to the firms that are gonna bid on the asset management plan that the grant is all about. Hopefully the next meeting we'll be able to do that. Would you like to jump in here? Or?
No, that's basically it.
So that's what we've been working on, is the RFP, and that's almost complete. Hopefully next meeting we'll pass that and go off the bid for the work involved in the grant.
Even if the meeting's over, nobody wants to leave. Okay. Do you have any other reports, Julie, from town place?
Well, did you announce that the public hearing will be on July 8th? So people, I don't know if you announced that.
I mentioned it earlier. Yes. We got notice yesterday, official notice, we knew it was coming, and July 8th at 1:30 in the afternoon, and I did request an evening hearing. I did not get it, for the convenience of the people that live in that area. This will be pertaining to closing of the railroad crossing on Hayford Road. I hope everybody's here for that hearing, that has any concerns about it. I watched the papers. There'll be some upcoming notices, legal notices and articles about it. Other than that, I don't know what to say. It's in the hands of the public and to oppose this. We've done our thing tonight, I believe, passing this resolution to oppose it. We see no advantage to it. Anybody else got anything input on it, or?
Just word of mouth, get it out.
Well, the word,
Pack this place
I
out.
believe the word is out. That's not a problem. I did talk to two farmers that are mostly impacted upon this. And they certainly will be there, I'm sure. Okay. We need to address this service charge for outside water users. We have a resident, a business, that has, that buys water from one of our water districts on their own private line. They put a line from their business to our line, so we do not own any infrastructure from our main line to their, okay? And they discontinued their business and no longer feel that, we no longer feel that they should have to pay the service charge, which is, I believe, $35, Julie, every 3 months?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the desire of the board to waive this? I mean, it's their line, it's not our line. We do charge $35 every 3 months for people on our line, infrastructure that belongs to the town, as a service charge to maintain the pumps and any repairs on that line. Okay? Are you aware of this one, Steve? Okay, you know what you're
Is that water shut off though?
Yes, yes. The water is off, they're not using it. If they came back online, they think they would have to pay the
How would we know that they're back online unless the water is shut off?
Is there a shut off prior to their
Is
line?
there a-
It's gotta be.
Yeah. You know, Mickey, if there's a meter,
Which place you talking about?
Subway.
Subway, they closed up and,
Oh, I don't know if there must be a meter there because
is the meter at their business or at our, you know that?
I'm not sure where.
Their line is several hundred feet long.
Yeah, 300, almost 400 feet.
There's gotta be a shut off prior to going to them.
I believe that the shut off is by the Miramar entrance there, that's where it's fed from.
But does
There's a curb box there, I believe.
that feed anyone else from there?
No.
It's their line from there on, yeah. And I can see somebody.
Wait a minute, they have a well, they have a sewer line
Sewer,
that
it's a
goes back
sewer.
there. So
They have their
their
own-
well is metered, then that's how they derive their sewer
Right.
charges.
So much on a gallon.
Yeah, but they have their own private well.
So that line is not a water line?
No,
No, it's a sewer line.
no, let's say that got mixed up.
Okay,
It's the sewer line that comes and goes down to Miramar, that comes out the Dubois Road there,
okay,
that pumping station.
okay. It's, either way, it's their line, water or sewer. Okay. Somebody wants to motion that we waive that, or, just,
Can I add my 2 cents into that before you?
yes?
Seeing how that's a private line, that was put in, which I believe that should have never happened. That should have been a municipal line that would have been put in there way back when. So if this has been disconnected and they're gonna leave it disconnected, I would suggest that it never be reactivated as it is. That you put in the, if a business does come in there and buy that the proper line be put in by the town, maintained by the town, and then you're gonna charge your water and sewer charges. And you're gonna get away from these little private lines all over the place here.
I don't believe I was here when that line was put in.
No,
I
I don't
way
think
before my
it is.
time, so, long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we did look at the possibility of extending that line at one time.
Right,
When there was a request, that request has fallen short, as far as I know.
yeah.
It's not cheap putting down an 8-inch line for one or
No,
two
but
days.
it's up to the developer to put the line in and turn it over to the town. In this case here, they were allowed to put in a 4-inch line, so to speak, where an 8-inch line is what the code requires. So no one else would be able to use that existing line. It's just gonna create a problem down the road for whatever goes in there or whatever happens.
Am I correct, between his place of business and the Miramar, there is other landlords, land
Exactly.
owners there, they could have
Exactly.
looked into that line, that's his line.
Right,
Okay.
It's only 4 inch.
yeah.
Yeah.
Might that even work?
Yeah, well, there's the problem.
Because there's a distance there.
So then what we're saying is then we just disconnect it. Basically, if we're not gonna reuse it.
I don't know
We're
if,
looking
is that
at
on,
it.
it's gotta be on a town right away.
Oh, the state right away there.
State right away, yeah, okay. I don't know that we could stop the next owner, for instance, if there was another owner coming in, use that line, and it's not my call, I don't know that. It's their line, I mean, they own the line.
But what we're saying is it's not up to specs of today.
Well, it may, today, but maybe it passed whenever,
Right.
and then, for some reason, somebody let them put it in way back, I don't know when.
Yeah.
Probably should table this and do a little
Right.
bit more.
Yeah, I think so, because
do a
whatever
little bit
we
more
do-
review on this, I mean, it's nothing that we should jump.
Because what we're saying, what I'm understanding is what we're saying, if we say we don't, then if that property ever becomes reactivated, then we can't really reactivate that line. Basically, correct?
Yeah, that's what I would like to see happen there. Have the right line put in.
And,
So then what we're saying is there's no supply there. If we make this motion, then we're saying there's not gonna be a supply
well,
after this.
I just better go back to the Water and Sewer Committee and really look at this one.
Right.
I make a
See, the
motion.
thing is, you're getting into, is this a policy change, or is this an individual case basis that we're deciding on? That's my concern. We need to
Absolutely.
differentiate this between those two.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, Water and Sewer Committee, take a close look at this one, get back to me.
I mean, as far as the non-use, the charge thing, well, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the quarter's coming up for
Right.
water and sewer billing. So am I to charge them $35? Do you
Yeah.
guys decide?
Yeah, I would say we haven't moved on anything, I mean,
We need to investigate this.
yeah.
Water and Sewer Committee. Okay. We, the town, we let several people, organizations, whoever, use this boardroom, different things. High school uses it, but we need a board policy on the certificate of insurance when they use this room, placing the name of the town as an additional insured prior to use of the town facility. If we could have a motion to that, I would appreciate that, because
I'll make that motion, that anybody that uses the boardroom has to supply the town with a certificate of insurance, naming the town of Champlain as an additional insured.
okay.
I'll second that motion.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Nobody opposes, passes 4-0. We already discussed the state burning law. We need a motion to approve the post audit bills.
Make a motion
To review.
No.
The tree took, the wind
Yeah.
took the tree down somewhere.
Okay.
To review the post audit bills, okay? Have a motion to that?
Correct.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Approval of the monthly bills.
I have one I have to read here. It's from Fred Stone, the Board of Review meeting, grievance night, and mileage to training session in Plattsburgh, $331.31.
Okay. That's addition to the ones you have in your packet, the bills, monthly bills.
I make a motion that we pay the monthly bills, including the one read by the town clerk.
Okay.
Second.
Any questions on monthly bills? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's also carried. You have your trial balance reports. And I do, does anybody else have anything to bring before the board? I do need a motion for an executive session pertaining to litigation.
I make a motion that we go into executive session for litigation.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Harry, I have a copy of that railroad crossing numbers if you want. The Hayford Road crossing.
Yeah.
That's the report from the county.
Okay.
I got a copy of my desk, I'd like to
Okay.
give you before you leave.
All right.
Okay. If anybody else wants a copy of that, just either call or come on in and get it, we'll give it to you. Interesting reading. Okay. We need to go to the executive session, I'll get that for Harry.
Now in the softball, number 1 seed got a bye. Has a ball. Way high. Lemaire would have had to been standing on a mare to get that one in a strike zone. Rolls up. Ball 3. Kaiser delivers. Foul ball, strike 1. One to count. That's a base hit into right center. It's going to be first and third as Lemire hustles into third base. And Corey Tremblay with the one-out single helps bring the potential tying run to the plate. And it's Ryan Armstrong at bat with Corey Davison on deck and Josh Chapman, who's hit well all day, in the hole. Kaiser throws to first. Cougars do not want to take any chances. Foul ball. Armstrong came through with a big double his last time up there. Foul back, strike two. Pitch to Armstrong is grounded foul. Just get a piece of it. Starting to cool down here in Pickett's Corners. That's grounded to the right side. It's going to advance the runners. Armstrong will get a run batted in as Lemire scores. It's a 6-4 ball game. 2 outs. And Corey Davison with Josh Chapman on deck. Corey Davison becomes the potential tying run and the potential last out. Cougars do not tie this unless Corey Davison scores. So 6-4. That's where that extra run last inning really is big right now. That tying run would be at second right at this moment. Otherwise, strike one. Davison looking to get all that one. Kaiser checks the runner, delivers. Strike two. Heading for the down. Time to choke up and just get a piece of it. Doesn't need a home run. All he needs to do is get on base. So choke up. The biggest bat you can find and choke up. Longest bat you can find, choke up. The Kaiser head could be the last pitch of the game. It is low. Pitch from Kaiser. High, 2-2. 2 outs. Saranac ahead by a deuce. Man at second. Number 13 at the plate looking to get lucky. Grounds it to the left side and throw to first is in time. No! Off the bag, says Dave Mayette. Off the bag, says Dave Mayette. First baseman Stanton is not happy with the call. Throw was to the outfield side of the bag, and Dave Mayette says it pulled Stanton off the bag. So it was an infield hit for Corey Davison. Potential tying run is on board, and it all falls on the shoulders of Josh Chapman. Again, it makes a big difference with that potential tying run at first instead of at third right now. Strike one, yes. The last thing you want to do right now is get caught stealing if you're the Cougars. 2 pitches right down the pike. Chapman Oh, gee, I like to have those two back. So we could once again be down to the last pitch of the ball game. Tying run at first, 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Way high. Trip to the Class B finals is at stake. As far as these folks in Pickett's Corners, this is the most important thing happening right now for both sides. Kaiser winds and delivers. Put into play, hit to short, gonna go to second in time for the force. And that's the ball game. Solid defense for Saranac as DeRush tosses it over to Gillette to end the ball game, but not before the Cougars threaten and they leave the potential tying run on base, and the Chiefs will advance to the Section 7 finals with a final 6-4 victory, and that's the way it was. Section 7 Class B semifinals on this second day of June 2008. Thanks for watching, and for those of you supporting viewer-supported local television, Hometown Cable, win, lose or draw TV worth your support, Hometown Cable.
Himself back to a 1-goal deficit with 13 minutes and 33 seconds left in this game. Very big goal for the Chiefs right there. The Cougars gotta settle down and try and just play this game out and come out with the win, as they were ahead 3-0, and now they find themselves down to a 1-goal lead.
It was Aaron Terry from Christy Pajot as they get their second goal of the night, and they inch even closer now, and one more goal, they will have a tie ball game, and all they are doing right now is looking for overtime. This would be a huge upset if they come back on this one, guys. Cougars now gonna have to be a little bit more careful, as that 1-0 lead, it looks very slim now, as Saranac is coming with a force of energy. Everyone on the field knows now that any lucky shot that finds the back of net means a whole new ball game, and the Cougars want that 2-0 lead, so look for them to come out firing right now. But it's Saranac right now back in Cougar end. Shot. Tierney will grab this easy scoop though. What went wrong for the Cougars on that last drive, Josh?
The Chiefs really just caught the Cougar defenders out of position, and the ball's up in the air, and Tierney hesitated, and so did the Cougar defenders, and they just need to talk it up more, and that probably could have prevented that goal.
Seems like tonight the only 2 great shots that the Chiefs have had on the net, they found the back of the net on, and they've been lucky in that factor. As the Cougars need to stop any further scoring.